Hello and welcome to the Wildcat Walkthrough. I don't know about you, but this man is incredible. He's my friend. He's following the Utes, and they're going from the Pac-12 to the Big 12. Is that right, Coach? Is that where y'all going?
Yeah, man, that's gonna that's gonna be good. Get to see them closer to home and things like that. Because even this year they got Baylor, so I get a chance, get a chance to see them and see some of my old friends and stuff like that. At the tailgate. So that'll be a great experience. And then to kind of let some of the kids see it and see some people coming from the different part of the country. And even when I was recruited back in high school, that was one reason why I wanted to leave Texas, because I kind of wanted to travel and see things. So
Yeah.
that Big 12 is going to be a good conference, because it's going, that's going to be a strong conference, and kids get to kind of go out and see different things, and that'll open up our area to even more schools to come in and recruit.
Yeah, and that's a good thing because see that means the kids can go and TCU watch them play. That's
Yeah.
in your backyard, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So that'll kind of push the envelope for a lot of, your local colleges to go ahead and make decisions. If not, kid go to a Cincinnati, because there's a chance that he'll come back and play at home and things like that. So man, that's opening up a lot of doors for a lot of our kids.
All right. Well, it's game time. And this week you got the Wilmer Hutchins Eagles. But in order to get prepared for it, we need to know about your staff, about your team, and who's all there. First of all, I want to send a shout out to the principal, Mr. Justin Edwards. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes. Uh-huh.
And the athletic principal is Mr. Andre Jennerson. Am I saying that name correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go down the list of your coaching staff. Your defensive coaching coach is coordinator Mario
Okay,
Hill.
Yes, my defensive coordinator will be Mario Hill. He's been with me now for what 11 years. He's been here a while, doing a great job, and kind of working with the kids, being relentless, and it's hard. It's a hard job. People think you just walk in and just bring the kid, but he's a very motivational type of guy. So he's doing a great job. He's my defensive coordinator, and then I have a new offensive coordinator this year. The one I had last year, Coach John. The year before I had Coach Blaze. He moved on. He's at Arlington Seguin. And then I had last year I had Coach Johnson, who stepped in, who was my O-line guy, who stepped in, and he took a head coach job up in Omaha, Nebraska. So
Wow.
so I was able to bring in one of my old players that played for me, was an All-American here, went to University of Texas and Missouri, went on and had a little stint in the NFL, which is Darius White.
I
He'll be,
remember him.
yeah,
That's why I was going to ask you. I said,
yeah,
that
yeah.
name sounds familiar. So, I mean, how does that make you feel that he's now an OC for you?
That makes you feel real proud when you have a young man like that, and knowing the tutelage of his parents, and then to see how a kid just goes through the rankings and things like that. And we've always kept in contact and things like that. And he's trying to grow in it and basically become a head coach one day. And my objective is to kind of do whatever I can do in my power to make sure he got those opportunities for him. So he's open to it. He's relentless. And when you can get a young man like that to come back to his alma mater, he already knows what's really missing. So a lot of the things that are missing, we just gotta paste over and cover over and keep working and work a little bit harder than everybody else to get a positive output from my kids. And he understands that part of it.
Now, what college did he attend, and where did he play did he play in the NFL?
Yes, now he came out of Dunbar. He was in the Under Armour game, and he was the number one receiver. He went to University of Texas. He was there a couple of years, and then he transferred to Missouri. That's where he finished out at University of Missouri, and finished out there, got his degree, and then he went on and had a little stint with the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow, that's good. That's great. Wow. So that means you see the good thing is you can put pictures of athletes that come in your field house there so they can see and they can make it to the next level. So kudos to Coach White. Now let's see, we got special teams and linebacker, Coach Roderick Harris. Talk about him.
Yes, Coach Roger. This is his second year. He's a kid. He's a young man from Dallas originally, and another one that played off in school up in Oklahoma, northwestern Oklahoma. So he's another young man that got ties to the area. Young, energetic coach, man, and he just saying, hey coach, hey, give me a shot at it, give me a shot at it. He's asking for those responsibilities, and he's old enough to understand, well, hey, these are just not a title that you get without the work that goes along with it. And he's being very open to everything. And again, I got some young coaches that are coming in for that growth, so I have to make sure that that we sit down and we have those talks and things of what it takes to move on to the next level, because they both have that on their mind if they want to achieve those things.
Gotcha. Now your offensive line coaches. The name sounds familiar. Coach Matt Spurhan.
Yeah, Coach Bruhan. Coach Bruhan's been with me a while. He worked his way up through our middle school and on up to the high school. He's been here a few years, so he's been a stickler point with our O line and things like that. So he's been here a while. He's doing a great job. Very good teacher and things like that. So he's been here a while. He know how things run. So it's kind of, when I did lose Coach Johnson, it was made it a little bit easier to bring in another coach. But you already knew you had somebody that was there, knew how we ran things and stuff like that. So that makes that transition a lot easier.
All right, and then Coach Mike Radke, is that correct?
Yes, Radke. Yes, that's him. He's a new coach. This is his first year coming in, and he's a guy. He's just saying, "Hey, coach, I just want to learn. I want to work hard and learn at it." And he's keeping his mind open. There's a lot of things that, he haven't wavered from it. Like this morning, we had that sick. We didn't get off the field yesterday till late that afternoon working with the JV. And then we back here at 5 o'clock this morning, So when you see guys like that, they just coming in, and the other coaches that has played at that next level, they kind of chuckle at this stuff in the morning, because it brings back memories of when you walk into that field house in college and things like that. You got to go out there on that field. So Coach Radke is coming in with an open mind. He's doing a great job with the kids so far. And, like I just tell him, man, just coach our kids hard, coach them with passion. If you make a mistake by coaching them hard and with passion, they understand it. They understand that mistakes will happen, but I just want them to just coach them with a lot of passion. Get after our kids where we can get them to that next level. Not only the next level for football, but the next level in life.
Gotcha. And now let's talk about your strength and conditioning coach. And I believe he's also coaching your D-backs, Rodney Anthony. Talk to us.
Yep, that's another guy with a world of experience. He's coming out of Louisiana. So, I always had a good experience with the coaches coming out of Louisiana. He say he can cook, so I'm still waiting. Every time I see him doing videos, he barbecuing. I said, man, I don't want no barbecue from Louisiana. I want seafood and gumbo and all of that stuff. But no, he's a good guy, very good guy. He went to school down in Louisiana. He had some stints that way. He played some arena league and some football like that. So he got a world of knowledge that's coming in, very energetic. And this is his first year with me. He's another young coach that's coming in with the ambitions of moving on to something bigger and better. So like I said, again, we got some coaches there, and when you got coaches that got that mindset like that, and then you can really put things out there and say, hey, this is how it needs to be done. And they understand, we just can't walk out there and kick a kid off the team because you can't get along with him. You got to figure out how to work with that kid and how to find some common ground, because, hey, man, I'm not in the business of just throwing kids away. And I get my coaches to understand it. We just can't throw them away because we're going to have to deal with them. So let's figure out a common ground where we can deal with them and get them to understand, the success of life. And he's going to be one of them. He's in there. He, first thing came and say, coach, you got any problem with some kid? I'll be the disciplinarian. I'll stay after practice. So you don't get too many coaches like that, because normally you're going to get that kid that's going to be disgruntled, don't want to be here, don't want to do that. But he dove right on in, and he's doing a great job.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because coach got to have a good staff. You cannot do everything. You got to have people that believe in the Wildcat system. You've been doing, how many years you got there at Dunbar now, coach?
This is my 17th year here at Dunbar.
Wow. And you worked your ranks up. Who was your assistant up under, by the way?
Who was on? Now, see, you understand, I started coaching back after I left University of Utah, and I had the stint in Washington, D.C. I started coaching back in Nashville. Okay. Nashville, Tennessee. So that's where I really started my coaching. So when I moved back this way, I was in Dallas a little bit for a couple of years in Dallas under Radford Taylor, which is a very, very well-known coach over in Dallas. And then I had 1 year I was over at Eastern Hills, and then I was able to get to this position right here, So, but just not only being under a number of coaches, but man, just having the ability to contact and coaches that I've played for, and coaches that was even coaching in the NFL. I'm calling NFL coaches to kind of ask them how things go, how you do these types of things. And they was open to help me, even though I was at the high school level. And they was at the NFL. They always, they used to always tell me back in college, hey man, you'll make a good coach. And and really I took this job or this response, I look at it as a responsibility to make our young men better for tomorrow. And this is what better way that I can get my hands on them than to be a coach.
All right. Two staff members left. You got your receivers coach, Ryan Jones, and then you have a person that's handling the filming, and that is Brewer. Who is Brewer?
Coach Brewer's been here a while. We did have Coach Peters. Coach Peters, he kind of come in and tag and still help with our filming. But Brewer's been on campus. He's actually is a Dunbar graduate. He finished from Dunbar a few years after I did, and he's coming in. He's doing a great job with the filming, and he actually teaches the business and entrepreneurship here on campus. So
he's also a pastor, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So he comes in, and I need that too. So that's my prayer that I do have on staff to kind of keep me in line and doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Keep you under visor watch.
Yeah. So that's good to have him there. And one guy I didn't have on there, Coach Fry is coming back in as well. He retired and he came back, and he's pretty much on that campus full time now. So that's an old stickler, old school to kind of come in and can kind of help where things may need to be tightened up and things like that. So we have Coach Fry in there as well. So.
Yeah, and then what about Coach Ryan Jones?
Ryan Jones is a new coach that's coming in. He's coming in working hard, and he's working with our receivers. He's originally from Chicago. He actually finished from Tennessee State. That's funny. I never got a chance to meet him when I was there. Then we kind of sit back and we kind of talk about Tennessee State and things like that. But he's coming in, and again, he's a very knowledgeable young guy. I'm saying young. I'm about to say young man, but he's very knowledgeable and very good in the classroom. So that's some things that come on out here, because coaching, it's a lot of teaching that actually goes on. So you kind of got those guys in there that's strong in that background. And now, like I said, now more than ever, it's really down to really teaching our kids, because we don't get to do a lot of the things that you were able to do back in the day, where you practice and practice and practice till you get it right. But now you got to be able to teach the kids a lot of stuff to kind of save a lot of the wear and tear on their bodies.
Gotcha. Well, we're doing some recaps because this is our first Wildcat report with Coach Lawson, and a couple of things I do want to share these with you. Lee Arthur Williams, the track coach over at OD White. What could you say about him? Because you knew him, and he passed away.
Man, that was a blow, because I really saw him a few months earlier, and we just kind of talked, and we even when OD White had the track meet that's named after him, he was there. Even when when Dunbar had their track meet that they put on, he was there. And throughout the summer, I saw him at the track meet, because he followed my daughter very closely as well. We always had this running joke, but when I first got into coaching, he remembered me back in high school, and people, how he kind of had that little walk, and, he be in his own world. So some people kind of thought he was kind of standoff, because when he had his mind set on working with his boys, he was with them. But what was kind of funny and ironic, even when I was working in Dallas, he would always set time aside and always, give me some nuggets and talk to me and say things. And I never really knew it until he actually told me years later. Man, I remember you back when you was in high school. But we had a little running joke going on. I remember coming up, and my daughter, Kalani, the ones that's running track, I was taking him over to Northside for swimming lessons. So I drop him off. My wife would drop him off, and I'm at Dunbar, whatever. So he knew who my daughters were, Kelsey and Kalani. So he teaching them how to swim at the public pool over there. And I remember the girls came home one day and said, "Hey, Daddy, this man said that you need to spend more time with your kids." So I'm like, who? My swimming instructor. I'm like, your swimming instructor. I said, "That's okay, baby. I'm taking them to swimming lessons tomorrow." So, so I go, I get out the car, and I'm finna see who this fool telling me I gotta do some time with my kids, So when I walk in, I'm ready to see him. And then he walked over, he was already laughing because he saw me getting out of the car. So I get out the car, walk. I mean, we laughed so much about that. And it was so funny because even after that, after we laughed, I go sometime and I go holler at and talk to him. And I said, hey, how did they do today? He would look at me and he said, you know what, coach, your youngest one, she didn't have a good day today. He was just nice and calm. And I'm looking at him like, this is not the Coach Williams I know. Talking about she just had a bad day, understand it. I'm looking at him like, no, I don't know this Coach Williams, but that's just how to deal with your family. He would talk about things like that. Don't lose that time. Make sure you cherish it. So, he would do things like that and saying, I would just take him in and laugh because I knew he was right. He was doing it from experience. So,
Yeah.
man, there's a world of knowledge that we've lost. Luckily, he got a chance. He was inducted into the TCU Hall of Fame not too long, but about a year ahead, a year ago. So it's good that he was able to get his flowers and stuff while he was living and things like that. But he's going to be greatly missed, man, because even when we went to Oregon this summer, just to walk around Oregon and not see him there when you knew a lot of the kids at the AP ranch who he worked with, who knew him, and you would be like, I know, Coach Williams would want to see this right here, to be at the University of Oregon at one of the, at Haywood Field, and to know that he would definitely want to be one of those guys that wanted to see that actual track meet and to have kids. But I know he was there in spirit and he was looking down upon it. But that was just something that kind of resonated in your heart, that that was something he would have loved to see and loved to have been there.
Wow, that's amazing. A couple other things, then we'll get ready to talk about the game on this, but we're just catching up. For those of you that are just joining us, I'm Cedric Bailey along with Coach Lawson of the Dunbar Wildcats. And also, we got to also recognize another close family member, and that is, of course, I believe that's your cousin, the late Pastor Frank Lawson of the Harmony Missionary Baptist Church.
Yes.
What could you say about him?
That's my first cousin. Even though I say that's my first cousin, our people always say, okay, there's a bunch of you Lawsons, and I always made, well, okay, which one you could see? My brother Lonnie always say, no, we the athletes, they the entertainers. So
That's true. There's a video.
Yeah, we all was in a stop, but to me that is more than just a first cousin. They're more like a brother of how close knit our families really, really are, man. It's, his dad and my dad are brothers. His mother and my mother, that was my mother's first cousin and things like that. So it kind of kept that family and our family were real intertwined together. So he's going to be greatly missed. There's a lot of things. He started the boxing program, back when I was young. Dunbar had a boxing program. And even during the time I was going through elementary school, we all boxed for Dunbar. We all grew up in those ranks. All my cousins stuff, definitely his brothers, all of them was boxers. So me growing up through the ranks, we was a part of the Dunbar, the Dunbar boxing. Like my mom said, if y'all can go out there and fight in them streets and stuff like that, won't you just going up there and box for the schools since you're so bad,
Yeah.
So that was just organizations that you have where he would just diligently be there to help us out. And he had a few really good fighters that went on to really fight big in the Golden Gloves and things like that. And then he worked with the ministers, with the with the police department. He did a lot of those things. And like me and you talked about before, where he would stay after games and make sure people were getting home safely and things of that, and they breaking up fights if that was the case. And he was just a stickler around. So even though I'm saying, some people be like, that's a cousin, and they don't think that you see them every day, but they was very, very supportive in what we was doing. So they was always him and his brother Paul, they was always stopping by. Hey, do y'all need food for the kids? Hey, we'll donate some food for the kids. If you need ties, you need shirts, whatever the thing may be, all you had to do was mention it, and they would just come right on in and make sure those things were taken care of. So you hate to see people like that going missing, but all that does is putting those those things on my shoulders, guys like me shoulders, that now it's time for us to step up and take hold of a lot of these things that's going on in the community. It's time for us to start taking hold of that next generation to kind of help prolong and keep these things really going.
All right. Wow. That's incredible. And our prayers to the family. I know the homegoing service is going to be at the Great Commission Church, and that's going to be Labor Day weekend. So we'll be praying for the family as well. And of course, he used to ride a motorcycle, and they always had programs over there on John T. White. I know that.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes. So it's going to be a great homegoing, and God got a great servant. So he and his brother are there. So that leaves Gerald right here where I'm at, because I'm over in Tatum's, Oklahoma. And they're now in St. Paul. That's where they're at. That's in Milo, Oklahoma.
And we always laugh about it. You're going to hear some good singing. Hopefully they'll let me in the choir.
Yeah, I know. It's something else. Last but not least, before we talk about the game.
Okay.
Your daughter, Kalani, had an incredible season. How do you feel about what she did? Because she is a state champion.
Yeah, she did a great job, and she did a great job, and people be looking at me like, okay, Dad, you know how you really feel, and then, she puts in a lot of work. She puts in a lot of work, and people got to understand me as with her being here with me and all of that. She puts in just as many hours as I put in here. Like this morning, hey, me and her was up at 4:00 this morning. She knew she hopped in the car, and we on our way to the school, and we probably won't get home tonight until 10 o'clock, because we got a game tonight. The sub varsity. So she puts in that work, and then not only is she's great, and she won state in the in a division, set a record in her division, in the 4A division,
in the hurdles, right? What was it? Is it the 110 hurdles? What is it?
Yes, it's a 100 for the girls. It's the 100, and she ran a 13.9, and that as a sophomore. And and not only just that, her grades. I mean, she's a straight A student. She have over 4.0 GPA. She's in the early college program here at Dunbar. So not only I expect her to do very well, in track, but her grades go along with that as well. And but like I say, it's a lot of work that goes into it, and I'm thankful for my wife, because hey, she allows us to be away from home as much as we can in order for that, because I know, my daughter, she's off for the next month. But I already know it's going to start picking back up for her, where she'll start the indoor track indoors and all of that. It's some schools that are coming out for her. But I'm very, very proud of what she's achieving. But even though I'm very proud of what she's achieving, and this is why I lean on people like you, Cedric, because my mindset is when she leave Dunbar, to make sure that she's prepared for that college life.
Yeah.
What she's prepared for, because that work that you're putting in right now, you're going to have to continue it when you get to college, not only to be on the track, but also in the classroom, because she wants to go into the medical field. So I'm telling her that's going to be very, very challenging. And when you get there, it's going to be so challenging, where a lot of times you hear academic advisors say, "Oh, we don't think you should go that route because you're out, you got to leave, and you're leaving the campus and things of that nature this week, and you'll be gone a lot." So I got to get her to understand, and she's understanding it, that you got to give that extra work. And we noticed that at indoor when we went to Texas Tech, instead of us then we watched the college run. But my biggest thing was to take her outside of the stadium and watch those college students grabbing their lunch bags, getting on the bus with their book bags. And I was telling her, I said, hey, they finna do their homework on that bus, because they know come Monday morning, work is due. I say, that's the part that everybody doesn't see. But they see you on a track and they congratulate you for that. But they don't understand that grind that really goes to it when you're out there on your own, when you got to sit down and complete your work. But she's doing a great job. She's doing a great job and continue. She knows what her goals are. She finished with a 13.9. So her goals for next year is to get it down to like a 13.6, right around in there. So she knows what she needs to be. She knows what she needs to be. And even though what she ran, that'll be, she'll be the top girl coming back in her division. Yeah. But she already got those goals. I understand, hey, I got to continually keep getting better.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I saw the video. I like how they did it at AAU and Nationals. They called each young lady's name out, and they looked up in the big old Jumbotron, and they waved and smiled. And I was wondering, I said, I wonder, does she know where her daddy and mama is at up in the stands?
And see, really, my wife wasn't able to go because my oldest daughter, she's a freshman. Kelsey be entering in the Nortex. They got the debutante stuff was going on, so my wife had to go with her on that. But I was there, and we kind of talked, and because really at those events you talk to them, but once they go down to warm up, you have no more access to them. And she's
Yeah.
been in there. She's been in there before, so that kind of that's just a maturity that goes along with it. Just go out there, baby. Just go out there and do your best. That's all we can ask. And say, God bless you to do the best you can do. We just move on and enjoy the trip while we're there.
All right. Well, the best is yet to come for Kalani. I remember we was at Ponder. We was up at Ponder, and I was walking to go get something. And I looked up, and she was just cool and relaxed. And I said, "Hey, Kalani," and she said, "Hey, Mr. Bailey," and I just, I just said, "Keep up the great work. You're making us proud." That's what I told her. All right, well, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and talk about the matchup this week. And first, let's meet your team. First of all, tell us who your starters are, and let us know who you got for this year's team. And how many returning starters do you have on offense, and how many on defense?
Offensively, I have four. I have four starters, but even though I got them four starters, I got some guys in there that do have some experience. They were younger, but they did get a shot at playing. Our quarterback will be Brighton. He's still this is his senior year. So he's doing good. He's been having some very good practices. So he's been picking up on his reads. And if he can, like I tell him, if he can make the plays that comes to him, we're gonna be sitting really, really good. At tailback, we lost Gene. Who had over 2,100 yards last year.
Where did he end up going, by the way?
He's at Langston. He's at Langston University. So he's up in Oklahoma.
He's in Oklahoma. Okay.
So yeah, he's close. So we'll actually get to see him. See him play some of his game when he come into town, and we'll definitely take a few guys up to kind of see him play up there to see that life of the college student. But we got JD, which had a good year last year. JD averaged over 7 yards a carry. Then we have Ben Smith. I think that Ben Smith is your favorite, number 10.
Yeah, I like Ben. Ben will sneak up on you. That's what.
Yeah, and he had he'll step in. He'll be starting tomorrow because he had a real good scrimmage against Poly. He had a good one. We didn't run him as much against Wichita Falls Hershey, but he had a real. So we'll start him, and we got JD there. So whichever one of those guys are not starting at tailback will be starting on the defense, because both of them was all district guys on the defensive side last year. So whichever one of them is not playing or who's at tailback, the other one will be on the defensive side where we don't like her because they're great blitzers, and they both of them are great playmakers. We got Marcelino, who's been, he's been starting for me since his freshman year at center. He's a senior this year. I'm looking for some big things from him. We have another senior, which is Sean Douglas. He didn't start last year, but he did play quite a bit. But he's doing a great job. He's another big kid. He's like 6'3", a little over 300 pounds. Then we have Orlando Roman. He's a guy that's stepping in. This is his first year starting. He's a senior. He's one of the top high. He'll be battling for valedictorian of his class. His GPA is 4.6.
Wow.
So yeah, he's doing a great job in there. Then I have another big kid. This would be one of our big, heavily recruited young men, Zion Williams. He's 6'6", a little over 6'6", about 340. He started as a freshman, so this is his second year as a sophomore.
Wow.
He'll be playing at the left tackle. And then at the right tackle, we got a young guy and another sophomore in there, Kimori Moore. He'll be there, but we got some other kind of guys we can exchange in there with him. So we're looking for a great deal from our offensive line. We got some guys at the receiver, which we got Kalen King, sly guy, who's a pretty fast guy. And then we got some wideouts that with real good size. We got Marcus, which is another quarterback. He'll be at one of the receivers. He's a 6'1", like 170, good guy. And then we have another guy, Josavia Mills, be at the other wide out, which we'll kind of move him out wide, or we'll bring him in at the tight end. He's another kid, like 6'1" by 200. He's a junior. So we got some good sized guys. Now we just got to, develop. They just got to develop in their game speed and, and compete. That's going to be the biggest thing.
What happened to Keyshawn? Did he graduated, right? Did he go?
Yes, Keyshawn. Yeah, from the defensive side, we had Keyshawn. He's at Texas Westland.
Okay, so he's right down the road.
Yes, right up the road. He went on Texas Western. We had another guy, Ronnie Justice, who's at Texas Western as well, playing football. So we lost those two to there. Our nose tackle, which is Eric Yarbrough, he's been starting for me 3 years. He's been all district the past 2 years. So I'm looking for some great things from him. Number 50. We'll have defensive end, which would be Damian Stanford at one defensive end. He's a senior. He looking for some thing, big boy. Damian's like 6'2", 250 at the defensive end. Then at the other end, we have a young guy stepping in, which is King Russell Billingsley.
I
And
got
really,
that.
I'm gonna have to ask his mom because there used to be some minister back in the day, Billingsley. Are they kin to that Billingsley? But he's a guy that's stepping up. He's 6'1", 240, a sophomore. Then I got some guys that's behind him, Ethan and Tristan Green, some young 10th graders as well that'll be stepping in. We have a Christian Evans. He'll be another guy that we'll put down at the D line, real strong, powerful kid. He's a junior. So, we got some guys in there. In the secondary, we got a stickler in the secondary, which is Antoine. He was all district last year. He's been all district two of his previous 3 years. He started for me as a freshman. So, we got a circle of good guys on there. We just got to fill in places, and my older guys, my senior guys, the senior leadership, we just got to step in and just be vocal and communicate on the field, and we'll be good.
Yes. Now, of course, this game is at Wilmer Hutchins, and because of the heat, is the game going to start at 7:30, or are they going to push it back to 8?
Yeah, I talked with Coach Barnett yesterday. He said everything was sticking for that. It's been a little different this year because normally in this heat, we've dealt with heat before, but normally when it get around 5 o'clock, that heat index would start dropping. But see, now it's just kind of been holding steady where we've been like 108, 109, and you look up at 7 o'clock because before school started, we were looking at getting on the field at 6:30 in the afternoon, and we never was able to get out there. And I think the earliest we got was like 7:30. So as of right now, it's still at 7:30. But 2 weeks ago, when we had the Hershey scrimmage, that scrimmage was at 3 o'clock in the middle of the day. So that we still was able to carry that one on. So as of right now, that game is still scheduled for 7:30.
All right. Now, looking at the remainder of the schedule, next week you'll be at home at Clark Stadium against Ponder. And we went out there last year. That was a high-scoring matchup. It was like 70-60 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lots of
yeah. I saw a little bit of them. We kind of started already exchange film, so you just kind of glance at them and just taking some notes and stuff before you really dig in. Yeah. And it's gonna be an interesting game. I know, we got to go out there and just inflict our will. They're gonna be strong. They're gonna be disciplined at doing what they're doing, and really those the type of games that really help us right now. When we get in there with those disciplined teams and they do what they're supposed to do, then that kind of scale us back to do what we're supposed to be doing. And that's the game. Feel good about it. We get the main focus will be to get past this Wilmer Hutchinson game, and then we got them, but we'll be ready for them.
I got you. And I'm going to just stop here for the month of September. You will play O.D. Wyatt, and this time they moved the game over at Hanley Field. I was like, man, do they know how big the stadium has to be for that group?
I know. We'll talk about that. It was kind of, we did it a little different this year in picking stadiums. Normally we just kind of sit down and we kind of gather our information and say, hey, I need this game or whatever. But this year we did like a pool where if you got a pool, your first pool, you pretty much better make sure you have your homecoming game because you may not get around to get anything else. And that's pretty much how everybody was scrambling. That first one is to get their homecoming. And then by the time you got around that second time to get your first pick, those stadiums was already taken. So you just kind of had to just take what you get and you look at it. And, leading up to that, they may talk about the venue or something like that. We just have to wait and see.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to ask everybody to go to your website. You can go to your Facebook page. That's Dunbar Wildcats Football. They can check out everything. You guys got a back to school bash that's coming up on this weekend. Look like it's going to be on Saturday morning. So after the game, the community, they're going to have the drum line. They're going to have food and vendors. and it's going to be off the chain. So it looked like some great things are going on in the Wildcat Nation.
Yeah, yeah. It's just some things we're putting on and getting the community out and all of that. So that'll be some great things that's going on.
Well, Coach Lawson, we're so excited to be back for another season. I had talked to Dr. Lisa Langston. She and I had a great conversation. Found out you guys got a new athletic director too this year as well, right?
Yes. His name is JJ Calderon. He's from the El Paso area. I think he was coming in on Monday. We haven't all met him yet. So I know once he get in and get his feet work, I'm pretty sure we'll be the first that they'll kind of call him. We'll have a meeting where we kind of sit down with him. You never know, he'll be popping up on campuses because I know we got some games and he's in. So I'll probably see him on the field before I see him like in the office or something like that. So.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to an exciting season. And I want to say thank you to everybody. Be sure to share this and let everybody know we do the Wildcat walkthrough right here on the BGC Sports Network. Now, remember, when you go to the website at bgcsports.net, you got to be able to click on BGC2, BGC2. And that's what we want to do. And Coach, I need you guys to be praying because I've been reaching out, because I'm here in Oklahoma and I drive back and forth. But I've reached out to the Chickasaw Nation, and what I want to do is I'm trying to work out something with the district so that we can recognize some of these kids and have what we call at the end of the season and recognize outstanding athletes and just show them some support. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, are you gonna make that TCU Colorado game? Because I got approved, so I will be there and checking out.
That's a hard ticket to come by too. Yeah. So we're gonna see. They said they coming.
Yeah, well, they've been posting it. It's gonna be on Fox, but
they coming.
They didn't show Colorado no love. No.
Like I say, he said they coming, but you gotta understand when you telling somebody you coming and they already waiting on you now.
So in other words, he need to pump his brakes and slow his He done started fire
you don't pick a fight with nobody in their own yard now.
Yeah, I know, but I'm pulling for him. But
I wish the best. They're gonna be better. But I just think the difference there is going to be linemen. It's gonna be that right now. It's gonna be that lineman because me knowing TCU and not just TCU. Even Utah. I already know what Utah is able to. They're able to bring in them big sets. And you're talking about 4 or 5 tight ends can come in on a set. You gotta have a number of big boys to get in there. So but he got some skill guys and he got his son at that quarterback, so they'll be able to make plays. It's just how the line play gonna be.
All right. And by the way, we didn't even talk about your team. Are you still with the Star? Are you still with the Cowboys?
Yeah, I'm not playing this preseason stuff in it.
My team will be in town this weekend, so we'll see. I'm a Raider all the way.
Oh, okay.
We'll see what's gonna happen. But right now, Tony Pollard is the man. You know what I mean? And Zeke has gone to New England now, so he's
I saw that. So yeah, man, that's good. He gets another opportunity, which is well deserved. So he gets another opportunity to go on out and do his thing. Wish the best for him. But people got to understand, man, that's the life, man. That's the life of this game, man. That's the thing about it. That's how this NFL is.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. And by the way, last question: who you got in the Big 12? Who's going to take it out? Kansas State, Texas, or Oklahoma?
You know what? I don't.
What TCU? Everybody forgot about TCU.
I think TCU they had to fill too many holes.
Yeah.
They had to fill too many holes. They should be pretty good. I really want to see Oklahoma bounce back.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those coaches that I've been following for a while, I know them. Venerable. I want Venerable to do real well. Because he actually went to he actually played with some guys that I came out of Dunbar with at Kansas State back in the day.
Yeah.
So really, he's a very knowledgeable guy. So I'm hoping defensive guy. He's one of them old defensive coaches. He get cotton mouth when you're talking to him, and he just be going 100 miles per hour. But he's gonna turn around. I just wish the best for him. So
Wow.
he'll turn it around and get everything going, which, they won't take much at a school like Oklahoma, because I definitely want them to get it. I want them in Texas to get it going before they get into that SEC, or it's going to be a train wreck.
I got you. Well, Coach, we can't wait. We want to say thank you for being with us today here on the Wildcat Walkthrough. And we hook up every week. So, hey, be sure to share this. And thank you to all the Wildcat Nation. I was thinking about Miss Robbie. Is she still doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Miss Robbie? Miss Robbie. And is she a farmer too, a rancher? They got horses too, like you do. You know what I mean? Well, Coach, hey, listen, thank you so much. And let's go. It's the Wildcats against the Wilmer Hutchins Eagles out of the Dallas Independent School District. And it's going on here at the BGC Sports Network. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Cedric.